The German foreign minister says her government would not stand in the way if other countries were to supply Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. Police in California say a man who they suspect of carrying out a mass shooting at a dance hall was found dead in a van from a self-inflicted gunshot. Germany's foreign minister says it wouldn't stand in the way if Poland were to give Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine without its authorization. Annalena Baerbock made the comment in an interview with French TV station LCI, in what appeared to be a first clear signal over the contentious issue. Warsaw has been waiting for the green light from Berlin to provide its armoured vehicles to Kyiv, and Poland's Prime Minister is clear on where he stands. In a tweet, he said, "If we don't get German agreement on the Leopards, we'll build a smaller coalition of countries ready to donate some of their modern tanks." In his nightly address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the main focus of the war is the issue of defence. He explained that this week will be the time of appropriate decisions and that solutions had already been prepared, which he says will be fair. Zelensky also referred to the visit by former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Sunday, saying that the trip was symbolic as it took place on Ukraine's Unity Day. Mr. Johnson was recently awarded an Honorary Citizen of Kyiv medal at the World Economic Forum in Davos. On the Russian side, the Kremlin claims its offensive operations have taken more advantageous lines and positions in the Kherson and the Zaporizhia regions, and on Friday it claims it captured the village of Klishkivka, just 9 kilometers from Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine. However, there's been no official comment on the claim from the Ukrainians, but they did confirm that Russian forces are on the edge of Bakhmut, all of which will only increase pressure on the West for heavy-duty tanks to be delivered soon. This is the moment a SWAT team smashed a window of a white van in Torrance, around 45 kilometers away from a mass shooting in Monterey Park in California. Police had surrounded the van with tactical vehicles and bomb squad trucks for hours before going in. They found a body slumped over the steering wheel 12 hours after the incident at a dance studio, which saw at least 10 people killed. Another 10 were wounded.
At 12:52 p.m., our sheriff's SWAT team approached and cleared the van and determined the suspect sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound and was pronounced dead at the scene. During the search, several pieces of evidence were found inside the van linking the suspect to both locations in Monterey Park in Alhambra. In addition, a handgun was discovered inside the van.
The man's identity was confirmed as Hu Can Tran, a 72-year-old Asian male. Police had been looking for a white van as part of their investigation into the Saturday evening shooting. The attacker fled when people wrestled the weapon from him at another ballroom in Alhambra. Officials are still unclear as to the motive for the attack.
This is a call for peace and a demand for all nuclear weapons to be destroyed. That's what the International Physicians for Prevention of Nuclear War were calling for as they demonstrated in front of Hamburg City Hall on Sunday. The Nobel Peace Prize-winning organization began in the 80s by U.S. and Soviet doctors against the nuclear arms race. The protesters are concerned the war in Ukraine increases the risk of such weapons being used.
Especially for the biggest nuclear weapon countries, Russia and the US, which is also involved indirectly in the war, they have to declare that they will not use nuclear weapons in this war. No first use of nuclear weapons.
This protest is marking the 2-year anniversary of a UN treaty banning the use of nuclear weapons. It's believed that Russia would most likely deploy weapons that are tactical or so-called small. But experts at a conference leading up to this demonstration said there is no such thing as a small nuclear weapon.
It has a range of up to 40 kilometers.
It's not just weapons that worry the campaigners. They also talked about the threats of nuclear energy and the potential damage from possible accidents from power plants around the world. International experts are pushing for a protection zone around Ukraine's largest plant at Zaporizhia.
To enforce some sort of zones around them so that they're not in any danger of being hit by missiles, bombs or shelling. So that would minimize the risk, but again, it won't remove the risk entirely because meltdowns can still happen from loss of power, human error.
Another group of experts will highlight the risks of nuclear weapons on Tuesday. The bulletin of the atomic scientists will update their doomsday clock, symbolizing how close they think humans are to self-annihilation. Christina Jovanovski, Euronews, Hamburg.
Greece says it's prevented over 250,000 migrants from Turkey crossing the border in 2022. The government insists it's adhered to international law, but if a migrant qualifies for refugee status, they cannot be ruled to have broken the law by crossing a border. Our visit sends a very strong message of solidarity in Europe, unity and determination to protect, to guard the border of Greece with Turkey, which is also the border of the European Union with Turkey. This message is strong. It's a message of application of international law, and I believe that Turkey should receive it. Greece has often been accused by human rights organisations of forcing some migrants back into Turkey. In October, 92 men, who were mostly from Afghanistan and Syria, were found almost naked and bruised at the border.
Poland will continue to play the leading role in supporting Ukraine militarily, including sending some much-needed tanks. The President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, told Euronews when interviewed at the World Economic Forum in the ski resort Davos. There he participated in several panels on security in Europe and the world. He also attended the opening of an exhibition on Russian war crimes in Ukraine in the Ukrainian House. Duda says, at the moment we will hand over to Ukraine our Leopard tanks from our own units, at the same time, of course, modernizing our own army and taking care of our own security, because we obviously understand that this is our duty as Polish authorities. Poland keeps encouraging Western partners to step up militarily. These discussions also took place in Davos. We've spoken a lot about the Polish initiative of sending Leopard tanks to Ukraine, so that, as part of allied aid from various countries, we could together get these Leopard tanks and create at least an armoured brigade for Ukraine. It's also a very important British declaration regarding Challenger 2 tanks. You can see the interview with President Duda on Euronews and euronews.com, starting from tonight. A touching and spontaneous moment. In 1984, then French President François Mitterrand and West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl held hands to mark the 1963 Élysée Treaty.
The two men met in Verdun in an extremely symbolic place. And the story behind the history is that this gesture was not planned, that Mitterrand, in a moment of emotion, took the hand of his counterpart, Helmut Kohl.
Today, the treaty turns 60. The written document itself is quite short, 6 pages in total. It was signed by Charles de Gaulle and Konrad Adenauer in the Élysée Palace in Paris.
Among the major Franco-German proposals, I will cite during the period of Giscard and Schmidt the establishment of the European monetary system, which is the ancestor of the euro.
For better or for worse, Franco-German relations have marked the history of the Union. One of the most notable pairing being Chancellor Merkel and President Sarkozy, known as Merkozy.
Merkozy, so Angela Merkel and Nicolas Sarkozy were very different personalities, and that didn't make things any easier at first. When Sarkozy worked, he worked very quickly, and Merkel, she liked to take time to make decisions. She hated precipitation, and as always, there was this rapprochement around the debt crisis.
Now war has returned to the continent, and the cooperation between France and Germany is more than ever crucial. Emmanuel Macron and Olaf Scholz will likely collaborate at least until 2025, the next date of the German federal elections.